My hands stable, I feel able to turn the tables, I could do this. Just keep moving, keep your hands up, stupid. I feel lucid, a new viewing. I can see the end, I can see my future, I can view it. It's right there for the taking. Everything I've ever wanted, dreams are just waiting. I just gotta fight for it, willing to die for it, willing to like sort of.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000, it still sucks. This is Phil J. Fry, and you're listening to The Drunken Turkey Show, your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, just like every other podcast. What is up, everybody? If you didn't catch me earlier on my Jack and Lily update on the disappearance of the little boy and little girl out there in Nova Scotia, make sure after the show you go check that out. That was a little bit earlier. I've been on a 4 or 5 day hiatus, went out to Pennsylvania, go watch my favorite football team, take care of business, and the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Cincinnati Bengals. It was cold, but glad to be back, glad to be thawed out a little bit, and glad to talk to you guys about some explosive information that has just dropped in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, where star singer David, or goes by D4vd, is now apparently a suspect. And so we got some information that's mind-blowing. We're going to discuss that with you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. We also got a special guest. And without further ado, let's bring her on, Dr. Jaime Vona. How's it going, Dr. Vona?
Hello, good to see you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that you came to Pennsylvania.
It was fun. It was cold. It was really cold, actually. A lot different than in Texas, but
It's cold here.
You know, it was manageable, to a certain extent. I just kind of, I don't know, maybe I should have been more prepared, but I did buy, I bought this Steelers onesie thing that has these muscles that are packed into it. Looks like a superhuman thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I bought it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take it. So I took it. That's going to be what I'm going to wear for Christmas.
I love that. Love it.
Well, so there's been some new news in the David Burke, Celeste Rivas Hernandez case that is kind of a little bit not surprising, but some of the information that's coming out is a little bit surprising. But without further ado, let's just talk about it and bring it up and go with the flow there. So TMZ is reporting that that law enforcement is now viewing David Burke, or David D4vd, as a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas. Any surprise to you, Dr. Vona, about this breaking news?
No, not at all. The only thing I am surprised about is that they didn't, I'm afraid, what if he not flees? I'm not really afraid he would flee, but I would be afraid that he would do something to himself. I don't know if there's strategy behind this. I don't know, but I'm not surprised. I always thought that he was a suspect, in my opinion.
Oh, I think them leaking it out is definitely a strategic move. There's some other things that are kind of leading me to what that strategy is. As we uncover it, I'll kind of explain what I think law enforcement is doing here, and what I think the next move might be. But I see it. I think I see what it is that they're trying to do.
Okay.
So this goes on to say that there's no paperwork classifying David as a suspect, but as one of our sources told us, investigators are looking at David as a suspect. We're also told that they're viewing the Celeste death as a possible homicide, even though the medical examiner has yet to determine the cause or manner of death. Investigators are still awaiting the toxicology reports. Now, from what I've heard through different news media outlets, is that she was in fact dismembered and that there were signs of cutting. Do you think that kind of is why they're leaning towards homicide, is the fact that she was found in a bag with, being dismembered?
I would think so. I mean, how did she get in the bag even if she wasn't dismembered? So I feel like either way, there's some form of crime here. But absolutely. And I think that what I saw was there was more than one source that said that they've been told by inside sources that she was in fact dismembered, which is something that we didn't really know yet.
Yeah, I know that there was the thought that she was. I know that a lot of people thought maybe perhaps it was just that she'd been in the trunk for a very long time, that maybe it was more so a decomposition type of thing and that resulted in what appeared to be a dismemberment. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It sounds like they've actually seen cut marks. So take that for what it is. The police investigation revealed that around the spring of 2025 or 2025, David made a trip in the middle of the night to a remote area in Santa Barbara County and remained there for several hours. It is unclear why the spring trip would be LAPD's radar. Now, I just watched TMZ and they reported a little bit earlier today that this trip in the spring is significant to the case. Other places are reporting that they believe this may have been when Celeste passed away. Spring is a lot earlier timeline.
It's like April.
Yeah. As early as March.
Yeah.
And so given that they were still able to see certain things like tattoos and things of that nature, although she was badly decomposed, she wasn't completely decomposed. What do you think that says about this? Do you think that maybe perhaps, because TMZ is kind of alluding that, and they even said this, it doesn't make any sense, that there's a possibility that she was buried and then unburied. What do you think about that?
My only problem with that would be that there would have to be 2 trips there, right?
There would have to be 2 trips, yes.
So if there's only 1 trip, then I don't know. I mean, could they have dismembered her out there? Maybe left some of her out there. Who knows? But I don't know that we have evidence that they went and then went back. Now, if there's evidence of 2 trips, then absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
They didn't have to take the Tesla back to pick her up.
That's true.
But she ended up in the trunk of the Tesla, and they took the Tesla the first time. So you would have assumed that would have been the case.
Do we know that was the first time? Like, if they did, assuming they did take another, like a second vehicle, do we know if that would have been the first time or the second time?
See, my thoughts are, is it possible that this trip was more of a, I don't know, a getaway sort of thing, and then something happened there?
I think they said it was in the middle of the night, though, which was different from his other behaviors.
That's true. Well, I'm not sure if it would be different than his other behaviors. But you're right. It being in the middle of the night for several hours, could that be where they dismembered her? I did look it up, and my Google is going to probably be red flag now. But apparently, because I didn't know, I was like, so I looked it up. The first thing that I thought is maybe he put her in a freezer, for a period of time. But that was before I heard what TMZ is now reporting, which it doesn't make much sense. But if he'd have to go, but burying a body does also slow down the decomposition because there's a lack of humidity, a lack of the air exposure, things of that nature. But it's a very long time. I mean, you're looking at as late as March. March, April. 7 months.
That's a long time.
In California, in the heat throughout the summer.
I agree with that. I don't know. I think there's evidence, though, in my opinion, to say that April might have been more like it. But again, that's still 6 months. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, even at that 6 months, April. You know what? I think you're right. I think they did say April.
Could they have I don't know. I was going to say store her body in a way that would slow it down, but I don't know what that might be.
They're also saying that they believe that they have that he may have had help.
I do think that.
Which I think TMZ is kind of alluding it being that the help was to dismember, bury, and then unbury the body. But why would anybody unbury the body just to leave the body in the trunk of the car on the side of the road?
Because it probably got interrupted in their plan, whatever the plan was. You know what I mean? Like the plan probably, like they found the car and had the car towed. Who knows if there was a plan? Oh, what do you mean?
So if TMZ is correct, somebody went out. So David, we'll use allegedly. David allegedly may have gone out there after Celeste had died, had buried her dismembered body out there in the bag already. Right. And then this was in the spring. So they would have left the body there and then go back sometime in September to unbury it and then leave it in the car.
Maybe they got spooked.
Well, but what do you think is the benefit of unburying it from the middle of nowhere?
There wouldn't be unless you got like nervous that somebody was onto you, maybe. Which could be totally in someone's own head, but just being like paranoid that maybe somebody was onto you and then coming up with like a plan B, which gets interrupted.
What do you think? Do you think that maybe somebody got a guilty conscience?
No.
You don't think maybe somebody helping?
No, because if you got a guilty conscience, that would be your opportunity to go to the police and like cut a deal. So no, I think if anything, it was more.
I mean,
like
that's if they don't want to go to jail. I mean, I'm just spitballing, but could a young kid be like, go out there and help David bury the body, not be involved in the murder, just that, and then it just eat at that person, and they decide to go unbury the body and put the body in David's car because it would lead back to him, so that way there's some sort of justice. I'm not saying that's plausible, but I don't really buy it either, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. What do you think about that?
I don't think so, only because then like strategically that wouldn't make sense, because then if you're like trying to throw him under the bus, knowing that you helped, then he could throw you under the bus. So if anything, you would go to the police, I would think, and tell them what you know if you felt guilty. Just my opinion.
Fair enough.
So I don't think that's what happened. I think if anything, if we do find that it was an unburying, that it was probably because somebody thought that somebody was onto them, whether it be the police or someone else, but somebody was spooked and they moved her.
Now, if this area was like a development area that all of a sudden they're going to start digging in that area, you probably are correct there. Maybe that's something that spooked them. Here's where I think they're going with it. I think they think somebody did help, somebody does know something, and they're putting this out there so that way they can pressure somebody else to come forward and talk.
That makes total sense.
That's where I really think it is. That's kind of where I was going in the beginning, but just kind of, thinking outside of the box for other opportunities, because TMZ is saying that it doesn't make sense and that law enforcement says you have to put logic to the side in this one. And I'm like, maybe, because I think that's the part that they're struggling with, is the fact that he went back out there, or somebody went back out there and unburied her.
It was probably whoever buried her, probably, in my opinion, went back out there and unburied her.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was him that buried her, it would be my opinion that he went out there and unburied her.
It's possible.
If that's what happened. Or it could just be that they buried part of her there and they were going to like scatter pieces. Who knows? And they could have just gotten interrupted at some point, or maybe he had to go on tour.
The only issue with that is if they got spooked because they thought somebody was going to find her in a remote disclosed area, buried.
No, you're right. And in the Tesla.
Yeah, and they're like, we're just going to leave her in the Tesla.
Unless they planned to move that, right? But it was there for a long time, so you would have think they would have went back to it if they had a plan.
Exactly. It wasn't wasn't like it was only there for a short couple of days, you know.
Right.
E! News is reporting that Los Angeles Police Department sources told NBC4 that David has not been cooperative during the investigation, and they believe that Rivas's Hernandez's death likely occurred sometime in the spring, alleging that the 20-year-old, real name David Anthony Burke, likely had help disposing of her body. E! News reached out to LAPD for comment. However, a spokesperson said they could not confirm the report, citing an ongoing investigation. David is yet to speak publicly about the situation. However, he did make some changes to his assets in September. After the case was opened, he transferred ownership to 2 homes he owns in Houston, Texas, to his mother, according to legal documents. That was a big flag for me that he did that. What do you think?
1,000%. Absolutely. I think that was a huge red flag, because why didn't he do that last year? Or, you know what I mean? Like, why was it now? I mean, I guess he could also argue that he was afraid that he was getting, I don't know, framed or something like that. So he wanted to put it in his mouth. So I'm sure he has other reasons and that he's saying that for why he did it. But absolutely, to me, that is indicative of him being afraid that somebody could take those assets from him.
Probably a lawsuit for unlawful.
That's what I'm thinking.
Unlawful death, I think it's what it's called.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, so let's watch a couple of these videos real quick that I wanted. So I'm gonna unmute the video. You may need to
unmute myself. Got you.
Yeah, this case escalated quickly. Investigators now believe Celeste Rivas died months before authorities discovered her body. Sources tell NBC Los Angeles the singer, known as David, is not cooperating with the investigation. Police found the child's decomposed remains in September inside the front trunk of a Tesla impounded at a Hollywood tow yard. The car, registered to singer David Burke, known as David, had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for more than a month. Detectives believe the 15-year-old died in the spring. Law enforcement sources say the body had been dismembered, likely over time, and the 20-year-old...
Now, that's interesting right there. Likely over time. I muted it so you can come on mute. Likely over time. That doesn't sound like she was buried.
No, and not only that, I didn't hear that part before, or I didn't catch it before, but likely over time. So what do they have that they think it was over time? Like, is there another location maybe that they also think? I don't know.
I would assume freezer burn.
Oh.
Like if some of these, like if like a one dismembered part, if there's like something that indicative of freezer burn, maybe perhaps.
And so maybe the plan was to scatter her remains.
That may have been it. That may have been it. Now, I don't know what he's doing out there in Santa Barbara. Maybe that's where, in the middle of nowhere, in a desolate, remote area.
It's far, though. I think it's like a 3-hour drive or something. It was like pretty far for him. I don't know if it was 3 hours. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I know that it wasn't like around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to go there for a purpose. You don't just go take a ride in the middle of the night.
Or maybe they went to go see the stars without light pollution. And then something happened.
Went stargazing.
They went stargazing. We know this is going to be the next alibi. We went stargazing. For those that have followed the Bryan Kohberger case, know how that goes. But because he could have taken her out there for something else. That may have been the spot where it happened. That's what I'm wondering. Is did something happen? They get in an argument. They're just driving, and he takes her out there and does something to her out there.
I don't think so. I think it probably happened closer to home, and he brought her out there to distance himself from the body.
So you don't think he took her out there with him?
No, not in my. Eventually, but not alive.
All right, I'm gonna continue this, but yeah, likely over time. That was interesting. I wonder what that meant.
artist might have had help moving and disposing of it. The girl was last seen alive on April 5th in an area about 60 minutes southeast of LA. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner identified her through forensic testing, but has not yet ruled on a cause of death. NBC News has reached out to Burke's attorneys. They have not responded. Police searched properties linked to Burke, including one in the Houston area. His tour was canceled after the discovery. LAPD continues to treat this case as an active and urgent death investigation.
I'm still tripping about that whole likely over time stuff.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's also important to note that he says here that they canceled, that the tour got canceled, not that he canceled the tour.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too. So it wasn't like he was heartbroken and canceled the tour.
No, that's true. That is
You
true.
don't know what that's going to mean, but all I think about is when we did a live before, I don't know if you remember, but right after, like it was, and I went and looked and it was in April that he did that tour thing on stage where he's singing Afterlife and he cries at the end of it and he can't really finish it. We played it on here.
Mhm.
I have a feeling that that's going to be linked in here in some way as far as that this happening after. So him singing after this occurs.
You know, you're right. You're right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think I think you're onto something, that one, because when you said that and then you know, obviously he has been less emotional about the situation since. It seems like he didn't even care. Like people were saying that, like he was going on about his business as if he was already aware of the situation for some time.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And there was other things, like I was looking at some of his Discord server stuff, and it's interesting. There's at one point he writes, and this is towards the end of April, or it was in May, but it was like right around this time. And he's like releasing parts of his album, and in one thing he starts spamming the word decay, and like all his fans start writing it back. And then finally somebody's like, what does this even mean? So I looked it up and he doesn't even have a song named Decay. So I'm like, I don't even know what that meant. I'm gonna have to send you a link to what I'm talking about.
When was it?
It was in like April or May.
And it was D,
He was
as in
like
the letter
spamming
D
the word,
and then K.
like he was writing decay, and like over a few hours just wrote it a lot of times. I'll have to send you a link.
Like the letters DK, like Delta Kilo,
Like the word
or the
decay,
word
like a body's
DK, like
decaying, like decay.
Okay, DK. That's what I was trying to.
Oh, sorry, decay, like your body's decaying.
Because I was like, I
And
know
the
a guy
name of
named
his-
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, and the name of his album, I forget what the name is, but it was something that means like decaying, but it's not the word decay. I forget the name of it.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. Connor asked, when was the last sighting of Celeste?
Oh.
September of 2024.
Chloe said that the decay thing started April 29th.
Yeah.
So that would
See,
be probably after.
Close
So
said he
her
started
body
crying.
would probably be decaying.
Yeah. And Close says that he started crying on stage whenever he would sing Afterlife on April 26th. That was the first of all the crying while performing.
Yep,
And then
that
the
was
decay
it.
thing was 3 days later, which would make sense.
That's crazy though, right?
The
When you look
album
at that
is
in
Withered.
hindsight. Withered, that's it. Withered. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah. Crazy stuff.
And I believe it was in like April where and we showed this too, where he had a coffin. He brought a coffin in and he had people like write letters to his alter ego. I want to know when his alter ego was created. Like, was that created recently? I wonder if that was created in the spring or was that something he's had for years? I have to look into that. I don't remember.
Like, what alter ego did he have?
That Itami, the one where he's like in the bloody shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like when he does his videos, the Itami character is the one that's like the bad, I guess the evil him that like winds up killing his girlfriend in every video pretty much.
Huh. I wasn't aware of that. I thought that was before. I thought he had that before.
Well, that's what I'm
she went
saying.
missing.
I don't know. Does anybody know when Itami was born? Because he winds up killing Itami in, I think it was like August, like killing him off, like his character. The whole
That's
thing
weird.
is weird.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm gonna pull this next one, and then I'm gonna pull up that TMZ one that I was talking about. We'll just listen to it here in a
So
second.
good.
Involving a teenage girl's body found in the car belonging to the singer David. Sources telling us that David is now considered a suspect in the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. No arrest has been made, but we're told David is not cooperating. Comes 2 months after Rivas's body was found badly decomposed in a car registered to the singer-songwriter. Now sources tell us her body was in fact dismembered, though the medical examiner has still not determined a cause of death. We want to note that we reached out to David's team, but we haven't heard back. Let's bring in our Alex Stone. He's on the story for us. What more do we know about David being considered a suspect now?
Well, Kara, investigators tell us that they are focusing in now and tightening in on certain individuals involved, and that nobody in the group around David is being excluded as a suspect. I had one investigator telling me that it is a fact that there are certain people in the group around him who were involved, who are getting concerned now.
So that's interesting. There are people in the group around him who were involved who are getting concerned now. That's that tells me that somebody's talking.
And people is more than one.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I think people
Which
are
would
talking.
say, could it be that she died around more than one person and they felt the need to all? I mean, do you know what I mean? As opposed to him, because at first I was thinking maybe something happens with him and her, and then he goes to a friend to help him. But this sounds like there's people, plural.
You know, maybe, but here's the other thing too. Remember the PI found farming equipment in their house?
Yep.
Maybe Celeste was put out there temporarily and, you know, dug up, and the plan was eventually to bring her back and utilize that farming equipment to dispose of her, the rest of her.
It's terrible. But I wonder what the people have to do with it. Like, because he said there's people involved. So does he mean before, during, after?
Well, I think I don't know about like during aspect, but when we listen to TMZ right now in a minute, they kind of make it seem like not necessarily like murdering her, but in the after aspect, moving the bodies, dismembering, unburying, burying, those type of things.
That makes total sense. Does anybody know when Coachella was? Because he was in Coachella, and I think that was also around this time. And I was looking at pictures of him at Coachella, and you have to see some of the shirts that he's wearing. Do you remember that the investigator says that he did see somebody in the car and that the investigators will be able to identify the person because the person's wearing very identifiable clothing? That's all I could think about. You have to see, like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie 13. It's like about child essay and stuff. But he's like wearing a 13 shirt. I had to look it up just to make sure that I wasn't seeing things. And then I had to go ask my husband if I was like remembering the right movie. And he was like, yes. The whole thing is just, you have to look it up. But if somebody knows when Coachella was, let me know.
Yeah, the last Coachella was April 2025.
All the same time, I'm telling you, I think something happened around Coachella. That is my prediction, you guys.
Now, do you think this was like crime of passion? Do you think he snapped on her? Do you think, we saw some video of her going off on her neighbors. Do you think he snapped back at her if she was going off on him? Do you think there was a jealousy type of situation that was going on? Do you think there was, I know there's been some rumors that maybe perhaps David was into men as well. And do you think maybe there was something arose out of that? What do you think could have been the motive here?
So it's interesting you just brought that up. So I'm not sure exactly what could have happened. I don't think that, let's be honest, I'm mouthy too. That doesn't give my husband a reason to do something.
No,
do you
of
know what
course
I mean?
not.
So I would say that just like that would be like, and everybody knows here that I'm very loud. So if God forbid something happened to me someday, I would hope that that wouldn't go against me in some way. My thing would be more that maybe in some way she might have said something like if you like something, I'll let people know, or, you know, maybe saying something, even if she didn't mean it, but something that made him get nervous.
Like a threat.
Yeah, kind of. That like would make him get nervous.
Well, she
And
did
maybe
say
she
the
would-
whole graping kids on his live, didn't she?
Yeah, she said, yes, about being controversial to our kids.
Yeah. Close says he performed at Coachella on April 11th and April 18th.
You guys, I think it was around Coachella time. This is going to be my opinion. I think something happened around the time of Coachella. And and another thing is, I think his brother at some point says something. Oh wait, he's photographed wearing the white shirt with the large black 13 on it. He was wearing that during Coachella. And if that's the case, that's also a child essay type reference. Like, I don't know. He just has so many like references. And like somebody was saying demonic, that's probably a good word for it, like demonic fantasies. Even if like he would say that it's for performance reasons, even when he says you died in the back of my mind, and he feels the need to tell the reporter in the back of my mind, like I didn't really do anything to her. It was in the back of my mind. And I'm like, would you really have to explain it like that if you weren't really thinking? I don't know. There's just so much about him that I feel is like poetic.
See, I'm looking at images of him at Coachella, and I see him with a yellow shirt.
There's a couple days of Coachella.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find the one with the 13. I see him with a white shirt all torn.
I think it's like a gray shirt with like black.
Yeah, I see a white shirt with.
It could have been a white shirt.
It says it has two little girls on it, like cartoon
That might
girls.
be it.
It says Hell Phase.
You have to look up. Let me look up the 13 thing.
Yeah, I was looking it up too.
It's just,
and then I looked up his name with the 13 shirt, and I couldn't find anything on it. I'm not saying it don't exist.
No. But I'm
it,
glad that you said that. I will. I'll find it. I'll show you.
Yeah, because like all the Coachella ones of him performing, he's wearing an interesting shirt. Actually, I'm gonna send this to myself. I'll pull it up. And that way I can show you what this image is. It's kind of weird, actually.
Wait, so I just looked up the overview for the movie 13, and it's talking about how they're experimenting with drugs, exploring sexuality, and pickpocketing strangers. Da 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 da. But the fact that it says about exploring their sexuality too, I know at one point his brother. I don't know if his brother comes out or there's something about his brother, and he like tries to show support for that, but like he winds up like going overboard on it. And I can't remember the phrase off the top of my head, which is why I didn't bring it up yet. But you brought up the thing about him. I possibly think that, in my opinion, that he also might have been in a male relationship. There's pictures of him in the Asian guy, like laying head to head, like holding hands.
Yeah. It really.
I mean, that doesn't really mean anything, but I just don't see you and my husband laying down, taking a picture, holding hands. Like I mean, I'm just trying to think of what people might be saying right now in the comments. Like, oh, does that just mean that no, not necessarily, but I don't see like Daniel or my husband doing that picture with any of their friends.
I'm not up to date on my fashion, but is this like a publicly used, like, does this shirt go out? Like, is this like a shirt anybody could buy?
Oh,
because that image looks weird.
It looks like an anime image, and I know that he's really into anime, but one thing that I noticed, so first of all, this anime, if it is, has on like a crop top, but also has that dark hair, the dark curly hair, and I feel like a lot of his female depictions look like that, which also look like Celeste.
Yeah, it looks also bound.
I wonder what the question. Yes, it does.
She looks bound. There's questions. Looks like she's laying down with her head to the side. And the weird thing is, like, you know, you see her arm, but it's kind of
Somebody
missing
said
from
that
there.
it looks like Madonna. I see Madonna.
Could be.
It could be. Someone says
a
it looks
weird
like
picture.
a pelvic bone. So, oh, the question marks.
Then yeah, there's question marks there. But this is what he was wearing. It's an interesting photo. I wonder what this image is. I wonder if, you know what, man, wish I could do it. I'm gonna reverse Google image that image there real quick.
Do it.
See what I can do, but I'm gonna crop everything out so that way it's just that image there. Save, increase resolution, Google image search.
Someone says it looks like a craft project. I actually agree with that. It does look like it's homemade, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like it's homemade, and it looks. I'm just curious as to where it's, you know, what it's from.
People see a girl laying on the ground with leaves, and it's funny that they say that because in a lot of his videos, you'll see like images almost like this.
Hmm.
Someone said her knee, the bottom right.
Google's not coming up with anything.
No.
Mm-mm. I don't
I
know.
wonder what else is on the shirt.
That looks like R2D2.
R2D2? Why would you have that on?
And then that looks like a sun.
I feel like we're doing a like an ink blot test.
Right.
You said that looks like R2D2.
It looks like an eyeball.
Yeah, it could be.
That looks like some sort of, like, I don't know,
Spider?
tarot card
Oh, maybe.
type of looking thing. I don't know. I don't do tarot cards or anything like that, but like something similar to a tarot card. I don't know.
That's interesting.
There's a V right there. Some other stuff. I don't know. That looks like a flag.
Oh, that is a flag, in my opinion. I didn't notice that though until just now. Is that like a square of diamonds?
Where at?
Like to the bottom of the picture? Yeah, right there. See, it's like a square.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I was trying to see that, like next to the V. I was wondering if it was trying to say love or something here, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, but there definitely is something about, like, he wears things on purpose.
Oh,
look at that earpiece.
Yeah.
He's like all blinged out.
Got a smiley face on the top of his.
That's the headscarf that he's wearing in that picture with Celeste. And there's another picture of her wearing it as well.
Interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Rose goes, I know tarot cards, don't recognize any of the tarot.
No, that didn't look like tarot cards.
I'm not saying it's a tarot card per se, but like a card from like a deck that somebody may use in some form of like tarot cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
Or it could be a loteria card. I don't know.
I don't know what that is. But it
that's
definitely,
Spanish
for
bingo.
sure, I think the point is, though, is that it definitely has meaning. Whatever it is, it has meaning to him.
Yeah.
Ooh, Thor always wants to make his, like, grand entrance.
It's weird. It definitely is. Let's finish this video real quick, and then we'll watch the other one.
As the LAPD is getting closer. So we know the investigation, Kira, it is advancing. It's been ongoing for 2 months now. They say they have been working diligently through it, trying to put pieces together, but her body was dismembered. And that has played a role in how slowly this has gone, as the medical examiner is still trying to determine a cause of death. But they say that they're working toward it right now.
So what's the timeline on next steps? Will there be an arrest in the case immediately, you think?
Immediately, probably not. We are told that they are actively working it right now, that they are moving forward with it. but it may not be right away. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months. They're really having to wait on that cause of death to come in from the medical examiner. Without that, it's going to be hard to charge murder. But they do believe, there is a belief among sources inside the investigation that this was murder and that David played a role in it in some way, either the murder or the dismemberment of the body and or concealing the body as well. So it does look like it's going down that road. The investigators are telling us that they believe they're heading that way, but when, they don't yet know.
All right, Alex Stone, appreciate you. Thank you.
Heading that way. When it will be, they don't know.
I think it's interesting how they're like, I mean, I guess legally, I think that the prosecutor can't consider something a murder unless the death investigator considers it a murder. Chloe, tell me if I'm wrong on that. So that's the only reason I could think that they haven't labeled this a homicide yet. But I'm like, you don't have to be a homicide detective to say homicide with this. Like, if there's dismemberment, someone did that. She didn't do that to herself.
You know, I would agree with you. In the situation where there is a body, you probably want to wait until the medical examiner comes in and gives their, you know, opinions and things of that nature. Make sure there's not something that has happened that could rule out something like, you know, they go in there and the toxicology report says something different, or, you know, there's a heart attack, which I know they're going to be like, well, what about the dismembered and stuff and all that other things? But if there was some sort of cardiac arrest, she died, they don't know that's why she died. They think it's an overdose. They panic and they, you know, chop her up and do all this
And they
stuff.
dismembered her.
Yeah. That's going to be there. I don't buy it. That's like Brian Welsh or Walsh. That's what he's saying right now. You know, that one case out of the Boston area and Massachusetts area.
No, I'll have to look into that.
His wife went missing, and she went missing for like the longest time. They still haven't found a body. Now, he just recently confessed to dismembering her and throwing her remains into a specific, I think it was like a specific trash that incinerated their trash. So that's why they could never find a body. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. Sorry, I got like a big old warning on my computer.
Oh, no.
I thought it actually shut down on me. I was like, no, but it did. In that case, he's arguing that something else happened and he panicked. So he pled guilty to the dismemberment and the hiding of the body, but not guilty to the murder charge. And so I think we can see a possible similar tactic here by David. What do you think?
Absolutely, because it would give him less jail time. So I absolutely see that as a tactic, but I hope he doesn't get away with that. And I'm dying. Chloe said that that's not a crafted shirt, that shirt cost $178.
Man.
That mustard yellow shirt. Could you imagine?
Well, guys, if you guys want some crafted stuff,
Like, seriously,
I can make that. Like, I'm not the most, I mean, well, maybe I do pride myself on my artistic capability. I've never created a shirt in my life, though. Like, not like that. But I guarantee you I can do something at least equal to that.
It reminds me of the Cosby Show, and when the son wants to get like a Gordon Gartrell shirt. I don't know how I remember the name of the shirt. And then his sister makes it for him and her sleeves are all wrong. That's what we would wind up doing with that shirt. But it does look like it could be homemade, but it's not.
I think when I played football practice, those were the jerseys that we wore. It was the cheap jerseys, like that were made out of the same, like the wool sack. Like, guys,
$178.
Man, I didn't know it cost so much to look so cheap. It's crazy. Now let's listen into what TMZ has just reported. Now, I'm not gonna show it because TMZ is real anal about their copyright stuff, and so we're just gonna listen to it, but we're gonna have this image on the screen.
Okay.
And here we go.
We're told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened. I want to talk about the mystery still in this David investigation. We broke the story yesterday that David is viewed as a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas. The big mystery centers around something that we have now confirmed absolutely as true, that the LAPD has some tracking information where they claim that David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night in the spring of 2025. Now, that is months before the body was discovered in Los Angeles in a trunk. I don't think it's hard to connect the dots. And he stayed there, by the way, for several hours. So I don't think it's hard to connect the dots that one of the things they seem to be looking at is whether Celeste was killed then and he buried the body there or left the body there in some way. If he did that, then the question would be, why would somebody, whether it would be him or somebody else, remove the body from Santa Barbara County, which is 100 miles away from LA, and bring it to Los Angeles, and then put it and leave it in a trunk on a well-traveled street, only to be found after the car was abandoned? That's the part that doesn't make sense. And I think that's, at least what I'm hearing, that's something the LAPD is really looking at. But I believe they have a theory. I don't know what it is, but based on our information, they have some theory about if the body was buried in Santa Barbara County or left in Santa Barbara County in some remote area, how it came back to Los Angeles. And that may also explain why we are told the LAPD believes that David would have had help. And now, I don't know whether that help would be taking the body from Santa Barbara back to LA. I don't know. But that, to me, is the logical way of connecting the dots. Now, I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened.
Well, the problem with that is that juries deal with logic. They like logical stuff. They like things to make sense. And so there better be some pretty clear evidence of something here, because this guy's going to have a grade A defense attorney and defense team. It's going to be top notch. So if prosecutors expect to get some sort of conviction here, they better hope somebody starts speaking and start talking about this. And I think that's the whole thing about what we're seeing here is they're trying to get people to talk about.
I was waiting for you to stop there because I was going to ask you, do you think that they're doing this with the whole police thing to see who calls who now and is like, you know what I mean? Like, could they be watching
first?
Yeah. Like who are you calling as soon as you hear this news? Who are you talking to on the phone? Like, who are you distancing yourself from?
That's a good angle too. You know, seeing what people are doing once you put out this move, see who runs, see who's getting nervous. I mean, that's the whole point, right? You want to get somebody nervous. You want to shake things up. You want people to start calling in too. Like, hey, ever since this news came out, Tommy over here has been acting real funny. You know, he's, acting real weird. He's friends with David. You might want to, talk to him or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah, definitely 100%. Good possibility there. We got about 3 minutes left. Is it low? It sounds low to me.
A little bit.
All right, let me do something real quick. Because I was listening to it. And I was like, man, I can barely hear it. Where was I at? 2 minutes and 52 seconds. I'm going to pull it up on my, I have a different.
Sounds good.
And then let me put up my volume booster. Okay, bear with me. Almost there.
It's good to go. I'm reading the comments.
All right, here we go.
Buried in Santa Barbara County or left in Santa Barbara County in some remote area, how it came back to Los Angeles. And that may also explain why we are told the LAPD believes that David would have had help. And now I don't know whether that help would be taking the body from Santa Barbara back to LA. I don't know. But that, to me, is the logical way of connecting the dots. Now, I'm also told that logic is not a big part of this case, because a lot of it doesn't make sense just in terms of everything that happened. But based on this Santa Barbara trip, it seems that the LAPD's operative theory is that Celeste was killed in the spring of 2025. The body not discovered until around September of this year. Now, the other thing that's interesting is there has not been a formal cause of death determined by the medical examiner, nor has the LAPD received the toxicology report. So they can't say that this is a homicide and David is a suspect, because they can't definitively say now that it's a homicide. Their operating theory, we know, is that it is a homicide, but the coroner, the medical examiner, has not said that yet, nor has the medical examiner delivered toxicology to LAPD. What I'm told is the relationship between the medical examiner's office and the LAPD is not the greatest, because now we're 2.5 months in since the body was discovered, and still the LAPD doesn't know A, cause of death, B, what the toxicology shows. And what I'm told is this kind of underscores not a great relationship where the medical examiner is particularly cooperative with the LAPD. 2.5 months isn't unusual for and I hate to use the term, run-of-the-mill homicide case, but this is a very high-profile homicide case, and a lot of times that can be accelerated. It doesn't seem to be accelerated here. So there is no formal determination of cause of death. There is no toxicology report. There is no formal label of suspect, because you can't call somebody a suspect until you know that it's a homicide. But again, we can tell you that investigators in robbery homicide are viewing this as a homicide, and they are viewing David as the suspect. But again, we are told they believe he had help. So Santa Barbara seems to be a central part of this case. This trip to Santa Barbara to be continued.
Screams out to me that they're looking for somebody to come out and speak, but talking about the relationship between the coroner's office and the LA County Sheriff's Department, seems like they're not on the best foot. Again, this could be another obstacle later on if this goes to trial that's gonna uncover itself. I mean, we're already seeing some problems here. Hopefully they get the act together. Are you shocked that it's taken this long for these reports to come in? And what is your knee-jerk reaction to hearing about the relationship between the two entities?
So that's concerning. That's what I think about that. But I also think, could this also be them putting pressure on them to come out and figure this out now, because it has been so long, and the prosecutors are probably getting blowback from the public. We all think it's ridiculous that it's been this long and they haven't, or I do at least. I couldn't believe that it's been this long already before they had a suspect. But I get that they need to wait to see if it's a homicide. But my thing is, even if it's not a homicide, there's still a dismembered body. That's still against the law.
There's also still an improper relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So can't they start with that? They do that all the time, where they start with one thing and then up the charges later.
I mean, Melody Buzzard got arrested for something.
She also got out, though.
She did. But I'm sure they have more evidence than he said, she said, when it comes to David and their relationship with an underage person who was a missing girl, versus with Melody Buzzard, who said that this didn't happen, and this other guy said it did happen, and there's no evidence of anything in between. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, totally.
Yeah, so
I do.
Yeah, so I think they got more evidence here to make an arrest. I think it's a different scenario than Melody Buzzard in that aspect, but it should be looked at in a similar situation, as far as you maybe want to apply even more pressure some way. Because if you arrest him, let's say you arrest him, and maybe this is why they were saying he was cooperative early on, is to try to get somebody else to come forward and say something. Because if you arrest him and say, oh, he's cooperating, now all these other people who may have been involved, they might start to panic and worry that he's going to say something against
I would
them.
be. Oh, I would be. Especially if this is the thing. I don't know why people don't think about this sometimes, but if the person, and this is just alleged, and I'm not even saying with David, but if somebody can do something to harm someone like that, and now they're trying to get like coerce you into helping them clean it up. Like, don't you think they could do that to you too? I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if they're putting their lives in front of somebody else's to that extent, they're going to do it to you too.
Right. So
100%.
if they get, you know, caught in some way, they would definitely give you up to save themselves.
Truth Exposed says it does take longer for toxicology to come back on mummified remains.
Okay. I think they had to get stuff from her eyes.
I mean, that's the toxicology report, right? But what about like, I mean, if she was strangled, there would be like broken bones and stuff. Like, can't remember what it's called, but there's like something in the throat that breaks when
The hyoid bone, but it doesn't always break. And even if it does break, if she's dismembered, how would you know if it got broken? I mean, I guess you could tell.
That's if she's decapitated. I mean, if that happened, then yeah, it'd be difficult to tell. I'm assuming, you know, she wasn't shot. I think that would have probably had some signs there of even though the remains are somewhat decomposed. Stabbing, could that be ruled out? Maybe not. You know, it just kind of depends on how badly decomposed the area is. But if they're able to see cut marks for the dismemberment aspect of it, I would assume they may be able to see cut marks for other things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I feel like it's not something that is that easy to tell, or they might have already given us more than what they have. So I feel like it's going to be something like a strangulation or something with toxicology, in my opinion.
But if it's a toxicology thing, I mean, she could have done it by accident to herself.
Well, that's what I mean. So I have a feeling that that's what they're waiting for, though, is to see if they could rule that out. But my thing is, even if she did have something in her system, that would mean that anybody that's ever tried a drug in their whole life, that if something happened to you that night, that it would be your fault because you took that drug. No. So even if there is something in her system, she was still dismembered and put in a bag in the Tesla.
Right. But I mean, if I'm his lawyer, I'm going to say, you know, there's a difference between taking somebody's life and dismembering somebody because he panicked and didn't.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? And, you know, the toxicology report comes back with like a fentanyl, you know, limit that exceeds, you know, a fatal dosage. You know, you still charge other people. I mean, the 3 dudes in Kansas that froze because of
And their friend Jordan.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who've gotten a batch or something, and then, you know, charges have been brought up against them because they
Charges were never brought against that Jordan guy, were they?
What's Jordan?
With the 3 friends.
Oh, was that the one that was inside the house?
The one where they found the 3 friends frozen that you were just saying. Yeah. Outside, they found the 3 friends, and he was inside, like, sleeping.
Well, I don't know if they charged him, but I think they charged somebody, though, the person who sold them the drugs.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I know that law enforcement has gone after certain people when that is the situation. You know, if he's the one that supplied it to her, which again, you got to prove it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Which can be difficult at this time, but I'm assuming nobody knows where. I don't think her phone was found.
No, I don't either. Nobody said anything about the phone. And also, Chloe was making a good point too. You have to prove that there was a relationship. So they would have to have evidence of like sexual contact in order to get him, even though we all think it's extremely inappropriate for him to hang out with this girl.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's enticing a child and having a runaway stored in a location where he is
That is true.
in charge of. That's not that difficult to produce. Plus, you know, you have statements and witnesses who have stated that they were romantic with each other. And so it's circumstantial, but it's strong enough to get probable cause for an arrest. I mean, you're going to want to build it.
Get his phone. I would think that they would want his phone by now.
Right, exactly. I mean, that would be enough to get his phone, get warrants for that stuff. I mean, I'm sure they've already gotten like the iCloud stuff and things of that nature that they can pull from the sky, so to speak. But yeah, it wouldn't. You don't necessarily have to be able to say, oh yeah, they were, we can prove that they were sexually romantic. Like you don't have to have like a pregnancy or something like that to prove that. There's you got witnesses, you got video of them together. She was a runaway, she was underage, she was staying at his place.
And that
you got-
video of her running away or whatever, they said that they seen her
Right.
get into like a dark car or something at the end.
and then you have statements that she made to others about their relationship, that she may have been able to, hopefully they're able to pull that off. Like if she texted somebody and her friends are like, hey, she texted me this is what she told me about their relationship, that can all be used against them too.
Even at school, she might have told people at school stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if there's a digital footprint, which most of these kids nowadays text and are on their phone on different messengers and chats and stuff like that, as long as it's not something that completely erases, like Snapchat after a few hours or whatever the case may be, if it's something that was saved, backlogged on a phone, it should be able to get pulled up. And so her communications with other people about this should be enough to,
Even if it's hearsay, Chloe saying that it could be hearsay.
that she's telling her friend, like if there's a text message between, like a text message between the victim Celeste and, I'm just going to use a random
What if
name,
they don't find
Alyssa.
her? What if they don't find her phone and stuff though, and they don't have those messages?
No, they don't need her phones. You get Alyssa's phone, the friend's phone.
Gotcha.
And the friend's phone is going to have that communication between her and Celeste. And if Celeste is saying that I'm having relationships, some sort of relationship with David, that's what you got. It's not hearsay anymore, because it's not, I'm using the Alyssa as a friend. It's not Alyssa coming forward saying, oh, Celeste told me, and there's no evidence behind it. You have a digital footprint. If Celeste messaged her friends and sent text messages or even wrote it down in notes and they passed it to each other and they have evidence of those things, that can be used against them.
Can somebody lie though? I mean, I don't think she did, but I'm saying, like, I'm trying to think of what Chloe.
Well, I mean, that's what his defense attorney is going to want to do. She's going to try to pick apart the credibility of the witness and all those other things.
Chloe said that if you have the friend's phone, that's double hearsay.
How is that double hearsay?
Because I guess it's not coming right from her, where if you have her phone, it's like direct.
But it's a direct communication that you can prove. I mean, like they didn't need Bryan Kohberger's, computer that he ordered, the Amazon tablet, to go through Amazon and show and have somebody from Amazon to show on their end, hey, this is where he bought things. This is where he looked at these things. This is where, this is the information that we have from our end of things. It's still communication coming directly from Celeste's phone.
Right. I see what you're saying. So they would be able to tie that back to her.
Right. Because it's coming from Celeste's phone. I mean, if she has, like, this has happened in multiple occasions where people have, I guess, I got to look it up, but, and Chloe would know more than I do. She's a professional at that. So she's probably more right on this than I am. I just feel that the cell phone data, if you had a text message from Celeste's phone, which you can then go and get, like, hopefully that would be like in the cloud and things like that you can go get warrants for, like search history and stuff. But I feel that there's ways to get that information out.
So there's ways to authenticate it, like where they have like it'll say
That's
exactly.
the word I'm looking for.
I just saw somebody write the word authenticate it in chat, and I'm like, that's what he's looking for. But if there's a way to show that this is where the person used their phone, like we see even with the Mackenzie Shrilla text messages, it has all the data on the bottom. I think that's what you're talking about.
Right. And I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's ways to do it. It's not difficult. Now the hearsay and all this other stuff, that's lawyer talk. That's for the lawyers to go in there and argue, the prosecutor is going to come back and say one thing, a defense attorney is going to say this, and a defense attorney on all their arguments, if you ask them, they're always right, and if you ask the prosecutor on their arguments, they're always right. And so that's just the way it goes in some of those things. It's going to be a judge to decide one way or the other, if it's going to be something that is usable or not. But having statements from Celeste to her friend. So if Alyssa comes forward and says, Celeste told me that she was in a relationship with David, I don't think that's hearsay.
I could see how it could be art. I think that you would have more with the text message.
Because I think hearsay would be, my other friend told me that Celeste told her.
Wouldn't hearsay just be like if I said Daniel said Chloe sucks? That's hearsay.
Not
and Chloe, Daniel never said
if you said that if you told Chloe, Daniel told Brittany, and Brittany told me, that's hearsay.
What if I said Daniel told me that you suck? Is that hearsay?
Well, if I mean, I gotta look it up, but
I would think that would still, I could see how somebody can argue that hearsay. I would think that, in my opinion, you would have a better argument with authenticated text messages, but apparently Chloe says that there's different rules for authenticated messages and hearsay. She said, Vona, that would be double hearsay. See, so this is why I'm the psychologist and not the lawyer.
All right. Let's see. Because and again, I'm not an attorney either. I was in law enforcement.
Oh, it would be double hearsay because I would be making a statement that you said, as opposed to if you said it, which would still be hearsay. That's a lot. But I get it.
Because I don't know. I've never had to go to court. Fortunately for me, all of the cases that I filed against people, they all either pled out or, they all pled out. I think there was only one time where I had to go to. I went to court. I showed up, and when I showed up, the defendant pled guilty. I think they were banking on, because I had already been out of law enforcement for like 5 or 6 years. I'd left the department, and that case just kind of dragged through the background stuff. And so they finally came to court, and I got subpoenaed, and I showed up. I had already moved. I wasn't even living there anymore. So I guess the defendant was hoping that I wouldn't show up. And when I did, they were like, all right, well, I guess we'll plead guilty. But yeah, law enforcement, we've used that information fairly easy to get a warrant and to do a lot of things to get things so that we can make an arrest. What you can use in court and what is available to you in law enforcement, what you can use to your ability are two different things.
Yeah, that's true. I've had to testify a few times in court, and defense attorneys will, if you don't know better, it could be traumatizing. If you know better, you get that they're doing their job. But they will say everything from hearsay to all the things.
Oh, you get objections for everything. And in some cases, in certain lights, maybe they're somewhat correct by certain interpretations, and then from another point of view, it may not be correct. And then from a third point of view, it's partially correct. And that's why the judge comes in there with all of their knowledge and information that they're supposed to have and experience as being a lawyer to come in and make a determination in that situation based on the situation that you have there, the evidence that's being applied and who it's coming from, and what applies and what doesn't apply, and precedent and things of that nature. There's so much that goes on with it that you got to go through. That's why college is like 12 years to be a lawyer or whatever. Again, I'm not an attorney, so we'll leave it at that. So do you think an arrest is coming soon?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. I was just going to say, how soon do you think until an arrest is made? I would think that, I don't think that they would have put this out there if they didn't have anything. So I feel like they might have something, But I do think that they're going to wait and see who talks, who doesn't talk, like who does what first. I don't know, but what do you think?
Oh, I definitely think they think something. The reason I think that is that because TMZ, NBC, I mean, they're going after a very high publicized person who's wealthy, and if they're wrong, they're putting themselves up for a possible lawsuit here.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
So do you think that means, though, that there's an arrest coming?
I don't know if there's an arrest coming anytime soon, but I think that they have something pretty strong. I would say that as soon as the toxicology report comes back, I think if they come back saying that this was a homicide, I think they have enough to arrest him.
Do you think he would try to flee or do something to himself?
He could. I mean, that's always a possibility. That's why anybody who's gotten arrested for something like this is usually on a suicide watch for a while. You know, definitely plausible. I mean, the guy, you know, seems like his artistic views are surrounded by death, and you know, if he committed this crime, then aren't there images of him dying?
There are. And
So-
it's Tommy dying, which means pain in Japanese says cuff you. And I do remember that. Itami's his alter ego. But yes, Itami even dies.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I think it's plausible that he could, you know, is that something that law enforcement think about when they make an arrest? Yeah, to a certain extent, you have to, you know, because you're going to go into a certain situation if you're going to, you know, do a warrant. But does that prevent you from making an arrest? Like, hey, we don't want to arrest this guy because he might hurt himself. No, not at all. And so, you know, he's. We'll see what happens. But I think, I would say this. I think that an arrest or charges are probably going to happen before the end of the year.
I agree with that.
You know, we got to about maybe a month and a couple weeks. I think before the end of the year, some sort of charges would have happened, whether it's, you know, murder or a inappropriate relationship or a couple of other things.
Okay, I guess we'll wait and see. We're definitely going to be following it.
100%. Anything else that you're going to be covering? What do you got?
I love when
on
you
here?
ask that question. I've been like trying to think beforehand, but I didn't today. So I'm not really sure because I feel like the last time I said something, I wound up doing something else and then did that too because I didn't want to go back on what I was going to say. So how about I just say I'm not 100% positive, but look out for something in the next few days. How about you?
I'll be back on tomorrow night. I'm not sure what
Perfect.
case I'm going to be covering yet. All the information that is out there, you know, if anything breaks in any of these cases, I'll be talking about them.
So
But
tomorrow night's Thursday, isn't it? I'll be doing something later at night. I just don't know what yet.
good deal. I think there's that. I can't think of her name. I just heard it. Somebody was asking me to cover it. There was a young lady on a yacht or something on a cruise that was found, a high school student found dead, and they think her stepbrother is suspected.
I didn't hear about that yet.
Yeah. She was found stuffed in a bed or something like that, like something crazy. And
Oh
like,
my
I think
gosh.
right now there's some suspicion around the stepbrother that went on the cruise with her. That might be something I might be starting to look into. I just got back from Pennsylvania, so I hadn't been looking at anything. And somebody in the comment section, a couple people actually said, you know, you should cover that. And then I got a couple messages about it, and so I was like, you know, maybe I will kind of look into it. I don't know anything about it, so if I do go into it, all I know is that supposedly she was found stuffed into something, and some people suspect the stepbrother. Outside of that, I don't even know her name. So
Oh, I'll look into that.
yeah, I might
Interesting.
just kind of start looking into it and giving my opinions, my thoughts, you know, kind of what I see, what I don't see, and then go forward from there. Unless there's a under a bed. There you go. Folks are coming in.
Wow. Someone just asked a good question. How's your dad?
Oh, my dad's doing great. My dad's doing great. A
That's
lot
good to
better.
hear.
You know, he said he tried to jog not too long ago, and he said that still hurt the whole surgery area. And
I
so,
bet.
yeah, no, my dad's doing good. Thank you for
Good.
asking. Yeah,
That's
he's
good
doing
to
all
hear.
right. Well,
Good.
I'll be back tomorrow, guys. You guys have a great night. Please hit the like button. Go follow Dr. Vona. It's linked
Yes,
in the
and go follow
description.
Daniel. And I'll probably be on later after Daniel tomorrow. So if you listen to Daniel, come check me out afterwards.
You got it. I'll be there
I'll
on her
see you,
live.
everyone.
See you
Thank you
later.
for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Take it
All
easy.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.